For years, I told myself I was afraid of quitting drinking, but looking back, that wasn't actually true. What I was actually afraid of was who I thought I'd be without alcohol. And if you've ever thought about quitting drinking, cutting back, or taking a break, there's a good chance that's a real fear for you too. Because for many of us, alcohol isn't just something we drink, it's become part of who we are, and letting go of that can feel terrifying. If you're new here, my name is Mike. I'm a coach and a qualified counsellor, and I've been alcohol-free for more than 2.5 years. But before that, I spent more than a decade knowing that I wanted to quit drinking. I wasn't in denial. I knew alcohol wasn't helping me. I knew it was affecting my confidence. I knew it was affecting my anxiety. I knew it was stopping me from becoming the person I wanted to be. Yet, despite knowing all of this, I kept drinking. And the reason wasn't because I lacked willpower. It wasn't because I didn't know enough about alcohol. It was because I was protecting something that felt much bigger, my identity. Most people think they're afraid of giving up alcohol, but what they're actually afraid of is losing the person they've become around alcohol. Think about it. Maybe you've been the person who always has a drink at social events. Maybe you've become known as the funny one after a few glasses of wine. Maybe alcohol has been a way to relax after work for the last 20 years. And maybe it's become part of your friendships, your weekends, your holidays. When alcohol is woven into your identity, removing it can feel like removing part of yourself. And your brain doesn't like that because your brain values familiarity over happiness. It would often rather keep you stuck in something familiar than risk the uncertainty of change. I remember thinking, if I stop drinking, what happens to my social life? What happens when I go on holiday? What happens when everyone else is drinking? Will I still be fun? Will people think I've changed? But underneath all of those questions was one bigger question. Who am I without alcohol? And that question kept me stuck for years. Not because alcohol was adding so much value to my life, but because I couldn't yet imagine a version of myself without it. One of the things I see with almost every client I work with is what I call the identity gap. On one side, the person they are today, and on the other side is the person they want to become. More confident, more present, healthier, calmer, more authentic, but sitting in the middle is alcohol. And here's the strange thing, they know alcohol is preventing them from becoming that future version of themselves. Yet, at the same time, they believe alcohol is helping them survive today. And that's why it feels so confusing. It's why people can desperately want to quit and desperately want to keep drinking exactly at the same time. They're not fighting alcohol, they're fighting an identity transition. What surprised me most wasn't what I lost, it was what I found. I found the confidence I thought alcohol gave me. It wasn't confidence at all, it was borrowed confidence. I found that the relaxation I thought alcohol gave me was temporary relief. And I found the connection I thought alcohol created was often quite surface level. And slowly, over time, I started building those things for real. Real confidence, real connection, real self-respect, real peace. Not because I stopped drinking, but because stopping drinking finally allowed me to develop those things myself. So if you're thinking about going alcohol-free, I don't think the most important question is, how will I survive without alcohol? I think the more important question is, what version of me am I protecting by continuing to drink? Because sometimes we hold onto alcohol not because we love it, but because we're scared of meeting the person underneath it. The person who's been there all along, the person who's capable of handling discomfort, the person who's capable of setting boundaries, the person who's capable of being themselves without needing permission from a drink. If this video resonates with you, I'd love to spend a moment reflecting on this question. What am I actually afraid of losing? Because for many people, it isn't alcohol. It's an identity, a story, a version of themselves that they have carried for years. But here's what I've discovered after more than 2.5 years alcohol-free and helping dozens of people through the same journey. You don't lose yourself when you stop drinking. You find yourself. And often the person you find is far stronger, calmer, and more authentic than the one alcohol convinced you to be. If this resonated, let me know in the comments. And if you want to find out why it took me over 10 years to quit alcohol, click here. And if you'd like support on your own journey, I've put a link below where you can book a free Zoom call with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.